think of the American Communist Party?
Bunch of fascist grifters. They're pretenders trying to drive people
Okay.
over to the extreme right through MAGA. Uh, Haxon Stinkle is one of the lead people behind it. He's some rich boy
Okay.
who decided to pretend to be a leftist, but he supports Trump. He supports Israel, although right now he's kind of cosplaying, being on the side of Palestine. But he's basically, in the doorknob orbit,
Oh yeah.
along with people like
Excellent.
Glenn Greenfield, Kim Liverson, Nico Maust, COVID Couch, Max Blumenthal. All that crowd is just Caleb Maupin,
What scriptures, man?
who's a serial creep, and then there's Nick Brana over at the Movement for a People's Party. He's got some really shady stuff going on there, and also is credibly accused of sexual assault. So, not a lot of good people within that orbit of the YouTubeosphere. But
Yeah.
Stinkle was trying out this cockamamie bullshit of trying to unite MAGA with communists with the idea that somehow it would bring Trump supporters over to become communists. It's like, no, they hate communists. What the fuck are you talking about? But then you look at the people he has on, and then all the shit that they're affiliated with. It's pretty obvious that if these people are not feds, then they're the most easily duped morons on the face of the planet.
Exactly. Yeah, because our friend of the network, Ty Pleasant, was talking about them. I think Nick Cruz had one of the people from the ACP on his show on
Yeah,
RBN, and he
yeah,
made
it sparked a lot of backlash. And Nick, of course, being Nick, decides, okay, I'm just going to shit all over everyone who's shitting all over me, which,
of course.
I tried to point out, Nick, the reason people are voicing concerns is because, even if you're confrontational with them, you can still expose these guys without giving them a platform to spew their bullshit. Because the way these guys operate, they're part of that whole debate bureau culture where their tactic is talking over and interrupting you to the point you can't get a word in edgewise, and that's how they pretend to dominate the discussion. I actually had that a while back with someone who's like a Vosh wannabe, and I pretty much took him to school mostly, although I did flub a little bit on 1980s crime statistics, but Joe Biden built his early political career on locking up black people. So, these guys really, if they cannot dominate the discussion, they fold like cheap launchers. This guy tried interrupting and talking over me. I just muted him and said, "Look, you're not talking over me. Not on my show. If you're on your show, then that's one thing. But if you're on my show, forget about it."
Yeah. So, me and Tim are thinking about bringing one of those ACP members onto the tea time. Well, I want you to join us because I think I need a little bit of backup, in terms of because I know
Yeah,
these
yeah.
motherfuckers are
These
gonna.
clown shoes really need to be taken to school. But
Yeah.
I just pointed out to Nick. A lot of people, see the futility in giving these guys a platform where it's like, okay, fine, but it's like Jimmy Doorknob just had like Steve Bannon on and basically verbally filleted him and didn't push back at least once. You never see him be that deferential towards like Joe Stein or Cornel West or Brianna Joy Gray.
Right. Right. Yeah, I
But
noticed
Steve
that.
Bannon or RFK Jr., you'll give the kid glove treatment because he is not interested in having
Yeah.
an honest discussion. He just wants to give right wingers a platform to spew their bullshit and then not do any pushback. So I was pointing out to Nick, look, this is what people are trying to tell you, and he's like, yeah, but none of you get to dictate to me, who I get to have on. And I'm saying, look, I'm not dictating anything. I'm not your parent. All right. I have no authority to tell you what to do. I'm just pointing out what people are saying, take it or leave it. You know, it's like with the run up to the Rage Against the War Machine debacle. I was trying to warn people, you know, look, this is going to be a waste of time. I just don't see any point in participating in it. And I turned out to be right because it was just a bunch of warmongers and bigots who basically dominated the discussion. And, you know, Chris Hedges basically cucked himself to these people. And, you know, he's talking about, you know, how we can't stop fighting back against these guys. It's like, dude, you're trying to make nice with MAGA communists, okay? Just enough, all right? You lost credibility.
Yeah. So many people lost credibility that day. You were right about the Rage Against the War Machine too. I heard. I think I followed you then.
Yeah. Once I realized who was behind it, I was like, no, this is going to be a complete wash.
Yeah.
You know, Movement for People's Party, Doorknob, and also they had like Tulsi Gabbard, who's like a major warmonger.
You
know, people who were against the war in Ukraine, but who can't wait to go to war against China or against the Palestinians, as the case with RFK Jr. and Gabbard. You know, so you know it's not a real anti-war rally. So you know, it ended up being a complete waste of time and basically an excuse to funnel money through the Libertarian Party, which is also involved in it.
Yeah, when I found that out, like, this is full of shit. Like, one last question, then you get to your topics. What did you talk about forced to vote at the time? I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, it was a good idea. I think part of what made it suffer was being affiliated with Doorknob, who actually didn't even originate the idea. He just kind of latched onto it, but out of opportunity. But it was a good idea. I mean, if it's politics 101, okay? When you remember when the Republicans took over the House of Representatives, I think this was like 2020, I think it was, or maybe 2022. Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy was trying to get in on the first vote and couldn't do it because his party was like, no, we're not voting for you right away. You've got to give us some concessions in return.
Right.
And then the Democrats use this to kind of point to the Republicans to say, look how chaotic they are. They're not united like we are. It's like, you fucking morons. You feculent imbeciles. This is the Republican Party doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, which is holding their own accountable and getting concessions in return for making demands, or making demands in return for concessions. All right. This is what politics involves. Okay. It is not some unity party where like everyone, you know, finds a way to get along and pass the same depraved far right policies. No, if you want something, you have to fight for it, even if it means going against your own party's leadership.
Exactly. But
let me see. I thought civics.
But I thought that, you know, the squad was supposed to do it. Remember, you know, they're supposed to go in there. They're supposed to be the left Tea Party, according to Kyle Kulinski.
Yeah, but unfortunately, 2 years getting their asses handed to them by Pelosi and the rest of the Democrat Party leadership kind of broke them. AOC just completely lost her focus, and I think what happened was the DSA, like Democratic Socialists of America, you know, with involvement from Kyle Kulinski and Chunk Yogurt over at TYT, you know, that they were pushing these candidates on us, thinking, okay, the only way we're going to reform the Democrats is by electing progressives. It's like, no, dude. You have no outside force to apply pressure that makes it. See, if you actually study history, Malcolm X gave a speech called "The Ballot or the Bullet," where if you break down the speech to its essentials, you either give us the vote or we're going to take up the gun.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
All right, and even when he met
for
with
studying.
Martin Luther King Jr. For those few minutes prior to Malcolm X's assassination, uh, Mr. X told Dr. King, look, I'm the guy being the outspoken, radical, scary black guy, so that they take you more seriously, so that you're more palatable to the white establishment.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
true.
you've got to be that radical outside force that puts the fear into the establishment and makes them want to give concessions to your so-called moderates. If you don't have that outside galvanizing force, you have no leverage within the party. You're going to get gobbled up and shoot up and spat out, or shat out.
Exactly.
Actually, if you
Shout out,
decide,
yeah.
yeah. So that's what happened to AOC. She got assimilated into the Borg collective, and you know, uh, Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and the others, they really were not united at all.
He would. Yeah.
So
Corey
they
Bush.
maintained. Yeah, Cory Bush got voted out. I think Jamal
Yeah.
Bowman didn't he get voted out too?
Yeah. Yeah. Them
Yeah.
two did.
So yeah, they got replaced by Zionist pro-genocide candidates, whom the Democrats, couldn't wait to embrace. If you look at the way the primaries were set up, yeah, those were, they would rather primary their own to ensure that a leftist candidate does not go on to the general election and lose that seat to the Republicans and actually allow that to happen. So